there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we do try our best to bring the best information we can.
We made it through the bomb cyclone. We're good. It slowed us down a little bit. Threw a little bit of a wrench in our week. For those of you who maybe hadn't heard, the Pacific Northwest got a fun surprise. The very excitingly named bomb cyclone, which I had never heard of before, but has a really cool name.
Yeah. So we were kind of in the middle of how people were affected. We have power now. We only lost it for 12 hours. I say in the middle because that was several days ago and there are still people without power.
Right, yeah.
And also
people that close to us, like
yeah.
within our city, don't have power still.
And then people who never lost power. So
yeah.
We're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad for us, but there was a lot of damage elsewhere in the city.
Yes.
But what I found to be the most surprising about it being from a place that regularly gets hurricanes, which, sorry guys, I think we maybe brought that one with us.
Yeah.
I thought we had left the cyclone days behind us. I thought swirly clouds were no longer our concern. But we're used to hurricanes, which you usually get a good bit of warning, like heads up ahead of time. Like,
right.
Hey, this big storm's coming. We heard about it the day of, like that morning. They're like, oh, hey, all of the air is crazy.
I did have enough time to put stuff away from the yard.
You did. Well, that was your dad instincts kicked in.
Yeah.
But we made it. We only lost a little bit of power. Didn't have a lot of damage. We're all good. Isn't that fun that we moved up here?
So nostalgic.
Anyway, in our last episode that we did together, Christian stomped all over my time segment. Just absolutely intruded and just sucked up all of our time. No, I'm kidding, of course. Christian, the yapper among us.
Yeah,
who,
I'm always doing.
Gosh, I can't get this guy to stop. So the last episode that we did together, we ended up only having time for Christian's segment, and I had alluded to the fact that my segment was not going to be short. So here we are dedicating an entire episode to my segment.
And that animal is?
Leafcutter ants.
Very good.
Which I am really glad I got to dedicate a whole episode to, because I've really wanted to talk about leafcutter ants for a really long time, and I'm glad that it is in a way where I can dedicate the full amount. There were even things that when I originally did my notes for like a half episode segment, there were some things I had to kind of like skip over a little bit. And then once I knew that I was going to have a whole episode to do them, I went back and did more notes on them. Because I was like, ooh, good. Yes, that means I have time to talk about this some more.
Undo.
So I got to go down into some fun rabbit holes.
Oh,
and
boy.
I'm really excited to share everything that I learned with you.
Excellent.
Leafcutter ants were submitted by Finn Oversloot. Thank you, Finn.
Thank you.
As soon as I saw this in the inbox, I was like, thank you. I get really excited when someone sends in a request for something I already wanted to do anyway. So I was like, yes, absolutely. I'm getting my information from the American Society for Microbiology and a Smithsonian Magazine article titled How Ants Became the World's Best Fungus Farmers by Brian Handwork in April of 2017, along with some other papers and articles and stuff that I will cite as they come up.
Excellent.
Yes. So, leafcutter ants. There are many species of leaf-cutting ant. They are found in Central and South America, as well as southern parts of the United States, not in Africa, as depicted in The Lion King in both movies. Both like the original one, the cartoon one, and the like new CGI one. They had a second shot. They had two passes at it, and they whiffed it both times.
Now, were they leafcutter ants, or were they just ants carrying leaves?
Christian, that's what leafcutter ants are.
That's the second half.
There is no reason that they would be carrying leaves if they weren't leafcutter ants.
Carry weird things.
Yeah, they were leafcutter ants, Christian.
Okay.
I hate that The Lion King only comes up when we're like kind of dragging it a little bit. Like, it makes it seem like we hate this movie. I like the movie. It's just every time it comes up, we're always like dunking on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the first one came out when, I don't know, a lot of those facts were not so widely known.
They
and then
certainly could have known.
They would have to go read a National Geographic magazine.
Literally one book, I think. Like a book, I think, could have probably accomplished that. Anyway, yeah, no. So they don't live in Africa. They live in the Americas. There are over 50 species of leafcutter ants, all of which belong to a taxonomic tribe of ants called Attini, or the Attine ants, which are fungus-growing ants. So these are ants who grow fungus. They tend to fungus, and the fungus is what they eat. Mm-hmm. You look like you were about to say something.
I'm just remembering a mobile game I played for a while.
And what mobile game was that?
I'm pretty sure it was just called Ants.
Was it called Ant Colony?
I think so.
Oh my gosh, I played that game too.
Just a brief amount of time.
It's a fun game, yeah.
Well, I remember because one of the like idle resource gathering things is fungus.
We almost certainly played the same little
Probably.
It's like a little pixelated game.
I wouldn't say it's pixelated.
Oh, okay. The one I played was pixelated. Yeah, ant colonies really lend themselves to like resource management, like mobile games.
Yeah.
Leafcutter ants are recognized by their sort of like iconic behavior. So if you imagine a row of ants dutifully carving up a big juicy leaf where they just snip little bits of it off and they carry it back to the colony piece by piece. So just like a row of ants, each one has a little snipped off section of a leaf and they're all carrying it back into their nest. But when you see this happen, it would be a logical conclusion that the leaf is their food and that like other insects like caterpillars or, you know, I don't know, aphids, stuff like that. Like a lot of insects eat leaves. So you might see ants doing this and think, oh, that's their food.
Yeah.
They're bringing it back to their nest to eat. Not the case.
Oh.
The leaves are not the ants' food. The leaves are food for the ants' food.
Oh, okay.
So the ants' food is actually fungus, which they farm inside of their colonies.
Okay.
So deep under the earth, within this complex maze of tunnels and chambers, the ants are farming. They maintain these gardens of fungus, and the fungus digests the plant matter from the leaves and converts it into edible pieces for the ant. So it makes these sort of like fruiting bodies. So I was going to say it's kind of like what we would think of as like a mushroom, but it's like off of the mycelium of the fungus, which is not usually the part that makes a mushroom.
Right.
It's actual fruiting bodies like off of the mycelium of the mushroom. They're called gondolidia, and they're like a special part of the fungus made specially for these ants. Like it's exclusive to this relationship between fungus and ants. So that's just kind of an overview of like what's going on here. What's happening? Why are these ants carrying around these leaves? It's not to eat. It's to feed fungus. And all of that information is necessary for everything I'm about to talk about.
And it would be a normal assumption to think that it was food because, I don't know, A Bug's Life led me to believe it's not unusual for ants to stockpile food in their anthill or whatever.
But they also weren't stockpiling it for themselves,
Correct.
Right? This was like a colonialism thing.
Yes, enter the conflict.
I think a whole generation was radicalized by that movie.
Now, that was mostly a joke. I'm not saying that ants actually do this. I don't know. That's what happened in A Bug's Life.
That they stockpile food in their... I mean, yeah, they do like stockpile food in their colonies and stuff, but in this case, it is not. Which... like, yeah, if all you're seeing from the outside is ants carrying around these leaves, you would have no reason to think that anything else was going on other than them just eating the leaves. But once you are able to actually look inside of the colony and see what's going on in there,
which
you see what's actually
most people
going on.
don't do.
I wouldn't.
For those of you who don't know, it's not good.
There's nothing you need down there.
I've stepped in many an anthill on accident.
I have accidentally stood in many an anthill, and you know who doesn't like that? Either party involved.
Yeah.
Nobody's having a good time.
Yeah. It's a core memory of mine in Georgia summer. Stepping into an anthill made of the red clay. And it was fire ants, of course.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's few things more devastating as a child than feeling a little prickle on your foot and looking down and seeing just your entire bare foot completely like submerged in ants. I feel like I have so many memories of that happening. You look down and you see them just everywhere on your foot and you're like, I am cooked. It's over for me. I can't believe this happened.
Right. And after a couple times, your brain just starts to recognize patterns of like little bumps in the ground that look like anthills.
Right. Like, don't step there. So yeah, there's a lot more going on under the surface for these ants. So if this is anyone's first time listening to this podcast, our whole deal is that we rate animals out of 10. And the first category we rate them on is effectiveness, which is physical adaptations, things they have built into their body that let them do a good job of the things that they're trying to do. And I'm going to give leafcutter ants a 9 out of 10.
That's very good.
So I think we have to start with their mandibles, which are their pointy mouth parts. So
the pinchy bits.
The pinchy bits, what you would think of as being like their jaws.
Yeah.
Their mandibles are serrated like a bread knife, and they're extra hard for slicing through leaves. But I found this to be interesting. They also have these muscles in their head that vibrate their mandibles at up to 1,000 hertz, which hertz means cycles per second.
Right. Not pain.
I looked that up. Because as I was doing these notes, I was like, what is hertz? What does hertz mean? I hear that and I know that it means something, but I never knew what it meant. It means cycles per second.
Right.
So their mandibles vibrate up to 1,000 times per second. And that's to, soften and slice through the soft matter of leaves. Like you can imagine, like when you're cutting through bread or something, you have to like pull it back and forth, like sawing, basically, like a saw motion.
Right.
Aren't there like power tools that like vibrate to accomplish something like that?
I'm imagining the tool. I just forget what it's called. I want to say reticulating saw.
That's a cool name.
That might be
If
wrong.
it's not called that, it should be. All right, Christian's on Google alert.
You see it on DIY TikToks all the time.
Oh. What an insightful glimpse into Christian Weatherford's algorithm.
I got the wrong word. Reciprocating saw.
Reciprocating, reticulating.
Maybe that was the snake I was thinking.
Yeah. A reciprocating python. Something for you, something for me. A quid pro quo python. So now obviously, slicing through the leaf is one thing, but once you've got it all sliced up, what are you going to do with it? Going to carry it back to the colony, which they do with incredible strength, which is something you hear a lot when you hear about ants, right?
Yeah.
They have to carry things around to bring them back to their colony. Leafcutter ants can lift up to 50 times their own weight, which you can kind of see in action when they're walking around with a piece of a leaf that is visibly like multiple times the size of their body. And they carry it like straight up in the air too, which is wild to me because I can't imagine carrying like something with your chin, right? They're basically like carrying it with like their neck.
And I just wonder what happens when one little gust of wind comes by when they're trying
to basically got a sail. Oh no.
There it goes.
Bye. That's how new colonies get started. Well, I just was imagining like what it would look like for a human to be carrying stuff around entirely with their like jaw and neck. And I imagine like what kind of like Chad face you need to have that kind of neck strength.
It's got to be nice and square to balance on.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind is Crimson Chin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, a lot of times when you hear like ant and insect strength described, that will often be translated into like, that would be like if a human lifted this much weight. It's not. It wouldn't be like that.
Right.
Because strength does not scale with size at a 1-to-1 ratio due to something called the square cube law. Have you ever heard of this?
I think so.
Because we've mentioned this before, right? How like you couldn't just take a bug and make it really big and it would work the same way as a tiny bug, right?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't just make it big and now it's going to do all the same stuff. First of all, they're going to suffocate and die.
Yeah.
But even oxygen problem aside, I learned that according to the square cube law, as an object increases in size, so like you just take it and like Photoshop scale tool, right? Just drag it up in size without changing its shape or proportions or anything like that. As an object increases its size, its volume increases a lot faster than its surface area does. So if you were to double the size of an ant, its surface area would be 4 times the original surface area, while its volume would be 8 times its original volume. So you're getting a much bigger increase in volume than you are surface area. And that means that its muscles would be bigger, but they would have to be supporting a lot more proportional mass. So like the muscles are working off of the ratio basically of like volume to surface area. So if you're changing that ratio, you're going to change the efficiency of the muscle. So yes, it's a bigger muscle, but it's supporting way, way, way more mass. It's going to be a lot less efficient, and the ant is going to end up being less strong than it started if you made it bigger.
Well, to be clear, it will be stronger, just it won't be at the same ratio of like size to strength.
Yeah. Maybe just like in raw numbers, it's going to like be able to lift probably a higher like number of pounds, but not in relation to its like body size.
Right.
It's not going to still be able to lift 50 times its body weight.
Right.
We had like kind of touched on that before. I just had never really looked into the physics of like why it doesn't scale 1-to-1.
Right.
And it's because of the relationships between surface area and volume.
Interesting.
Now, for these ants, you may notice when you're looking at different members of a colony that the different ants, even though they're all the same species, they all still will kind of have different sizes and slightly different shapes. And that is because of something called polymorphism.
Oh.
The different individuals can have different shapes and sizes to their body for different jobs. Like they have different jobs in the colony. Once we get into ingenuity, I'll talk a little bit more about what those jobs are and what they're for.
Tank, support, DPS.
Every ant colony needs good team comp. And then you get to the colony and like they're all DPS and they all want you to play tank.
Hate to see it.
I did kind of dock them a point, but I couldn't dock them too much because of the nature of their relationship with the fungus that they grow in their colony. So the species of fungus that the ants cultivate have actually grown so intertwined with the ant species that the fungus species is no longer found anywhere else in nature outside of the ants' colonies. For a lot of the leafcutter ant species, they have their own special fungus, like a species of fungus that is no longer found outside of their colony.
Are you going to talk about how it gets started? Like, how does a new colony start a fungus farm?
Oh yeah, actually that's pretty interesting because when a queen, so when the colony is big enough that they're ready to expand and they're ready to start a new colony, they will make a new queen, and the queen will take little snippings of the fungus from her home colony.
I see.
She takes it with her. And then when she goes off to start a new colony, she plants it there and like starts a new colony using this like cutting basically of her home fungus.
Okay. So it's like taking some sourdough starter with you.
Yeah, so they take a little piece of their home fungus with them and they start a new colony with it. Which they have to because you can't find that fungus anywhere else.
You also just can't like make it appear out of thin air.
Yeah.
So.
one of these species is Leucocoprinus gondylophorus. This species of fungus is so dependent on the ants that it no longer produces spores.
Oh.
It doesn't even reproduce on its own.
I see.
So it cannot exist outside of the ant colony. It needs the ants to be taking care of it. Otherwise, it can't survive and it can't reproduce. But it's not a one-way street. The ants rely on the fungus just as much as the fungus relies on the ants. So the ants have basically outsourced their digestion to the fungus because the ant is relying on the fungus to break down this like plant material into things it can digest. But they've done this for so long that the ant has lost the ability to process and like produce some key nutrients that it needs to survive, and its body has lost the ability to produce it. One of these nutrients is an amino acid called arginine. So their body has lost the ability to produce arginine. They can't produce it for themselves. They can only get this amino acid from consuming the fungus. So the fungus has basically taken on the role of like an external stomach.
Wow.
So the ant can't survive without the fungus either. They are locked in. Like they are married.
They're tightly coupled.
Yes, they literally cannot separate from each other. So this type of relationship where both species completely depend on each other and have no other options, right? Like completely like could not survive without the other. This is called obligate symbiosis. So as obligate symbionts, neither species could survive without the other. It's not just the sort of thing that like, oh yeah, we kind of help each other out. No, you are required.
Yeah.
You are group project partners. So this whole like thing about the ants basically breeding their own species, like making their own special unique species, reminds me a lot of how like humans have bred fruit and vegetables to the point that they're like unrecognizable from their like wild ancestors.
Right.
You know, like if you've ever looked at like paintings of fruit and like still life paintings from like 500 years ago, you'll look at something and you're like, what on earth is that? I've never seen a plant like this before, and it's just a watermelon. Like before we did what we did to watermelons.
Or like bananas. Like
bananas, yeah, they had these huge black seeds in them.
It's like, I'm not a huge fan of bananas now, but that looks especially unappetizing.
I would try it. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of that, how like through domestication and like agriculture over time, like you end up with like a completely new organism that only exists because of your needs, like because of what you need from it. And the ants did it.
Good job.
Good job, ants. You did it. You figured it out. And there's actually even like a further layer to this relationship. There are bacteria that live on the ant's exoskeleton, like pseudonocardia is an example of one. And this bacteria acts as an antibiotic that protects the fungus and the ants from parasites.
Wow.
Yeah. And once again, only found in this context, like only found in this situation. So basically, like the ant colony is its own unique ecosystem.
Right.
Like it's a completely self-contained ecosystem that exists all because of the engineering of the ant. That like the ant has, through its own industrious nature, created new species around it.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. But I did dock them a point because there's things they can't do with their body, right? Like without the very special boys.
Especially the feel-good version of cordyceps.
You know, I did see some kind of like parallels a little bit. This is like this is the healthy relationship. I mean, is it a healthy relationship? It's kind of codependent, but like,
well, I mean,
it's better than what cordyceps has going on, because that's all bad. The whole thing's bad. For the ant, it's bad.
Right.
For cordyceps, it's great. They love it. They're having an awesome time. But that is a parasitic relationship rather than a symbiotic, a mutualistic one is what this is.
I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking that your species is eternally tied to a different species, basically. That
right.
If one of you go, so does the other.
Yeah, like if something happens to them, you know, we're cooked.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we do have species that we've like domesticated that we rely on, but we have a lot of options, right? Like if we suddenly lost all of our pigs, we have cows and we have chickens, like, you know, like we have a lot of species that we've domesticated. So like if one of them goes, we can make it work.
Right.
Not so in this case.
Right.
They have put all their eggs in one specific basket. But, I mean, it's working. So let's take a quick break to hear from our friends on the Maximum Fun Network, and then let's talk ingenuity and aesthetics for Leafcutter Ants.
Dr. Game Show is a podcast where we play games submitted by listeners with callers from all around the world, and this is a game to get you to listen. Name 3 reasons to listen to Dr. Game Show. Kyla and Lunar from Freedom, Maine.
Dishes, folding the laundry, doing cat grooming.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Oh, things you could do while listening. Yeah.
I love that I'm like, why do you listen to this show? And Lunar's like, dishes. Fantastic. Manolo.
Number 1 is that it will inspire you. You're going to be like, oh, I could do that.
That's all we have time for, but you'll just have to find Dr. Game Show on Maximum Fun to find out for yourself.
Do you like stuff, things, items? Because MaxFunStore.com has tons of stuff from a bunch of shows. Want a shirt? We got 'em. Bumper stickers? No need to honk, they're here. Drinkware, sweatshirts, tiny bandana for your dog. It can all be yours at MaxFunStore.com. And if you're a Max Fun member, keep an eye on your inbox because you get a discount. Now is the time to shop for the Max Fun fans in your life, including yourself. You deserve it. MaxFunStore.com. Go get something special or kinda dumb. We've got it all.
The next category that we rate animals on is ingenuity, which are behaviors, things the animal is doing, ways that they are navigating their environment and solving problems that they face, things like that. I'm perhaps obviously giving Leafcutter Ants a full 10 out of 10 because this is wild. Like everything about them is mind-blowing. It is incredible that such, I would say, like neurologically simple animals have pulled off what they've pulled off. So first of all, I mentioned a little bit earlier that there are different jobs, and these jobs could really be described maybe a little bit more aptly as castes, because it's sort of like a position in the colony that you are born into, although it can change over time. You can go for, like, as you mature and as you age as an ant, you will go from like one job to the next. So the first job in a colony is the queen, right? You need a queen. The queen is the founder, so she establishes the new colony, but once she's done that, her job is to lay eggs and populate the colony. The queens are the only ones that reproduce in the entire colony. So she is the only one that can lay eggs. Nobody else lays eggs but her. Now, all of the workers, every other little ant that's working in the colony are all females. They're not reproductive, they're sterile females. And the queen will only begin to produce males when they're ready to start a new colony. So they basically like do all of the fertilizing that they're going to do when the colony starts.
Oh, so it's that they're not keeping some around the whole time. It's just,
So the smallest workers, which are, once again, the females, the smallest workers are nurses and gardeners who care for the larvae and the fungus garden. So they kind of, they'll go around and they'll take care of the little baby ants, and they will control humidity in the garden by bringing in water droplets. They will clean and groom the fungus, make sure they're clearing away any debris, fertilizing the fungus with their poop, which is nice. They also prune away like edible growths. So like the gondolidia that I mentioned earlier, like they'll prune those away so that the fungus can make more. They're fully like tending to, the garden and making sure that it is healthy.
And all this is happening in complete darkness inside of the animal.
Right, yeah. Because, vision isn't, like, super important to them. It's more pheromones and feeling, right? They're feeling around them. These are really narrow tunnels, right? So you can probably kind of feel where the sides are and stuff, but they're mostly following, like, chemical trails to navigate. So aside from workers and nurses, there are also soldiers that defend the colony. So they patrol nearby. And if something is amiss, something is afoot, they kind of castle guard, you there, sort of.
Right.
There are also foragers whose job is to cut and transport the leaves and scout the area for new sources. So these are the ones cutting and carrying the leaves. Those are the foragers. And I didn't know this. If you look real close, you might spot a very small guard ant that accompanies foragers. And this little guard ant's job is to ride on the leaf.
Oh.
And fight off flies.
What? Huh.
So there are like flies and parasitic wasps and stuff that will lay their eggs on the leaf.
What?
So that then the ant carries the leaf into the nest.
Okay.
And then the parasite hatches inside the nest.
I see.
And so these little guard ants will ride the leaf so that if a parasitic fly tries to lay its eggs, there's an ant there to fight them. They're like, they're like punching them. Like, not today.
Okay, I see. Because initially I was thinking, why this? There's plenty of leaves in the jungle that's not on top of an ant.
No, they want one that the ants are actively
Right.
carrying. So that's a cool way that they've kind of countered parasites, which can be really diabolical. Mm-hmm. In some species, the foragers actually might not even bring the leaf all the way back to the colony. They could drop it off like part of the way, and they do like a daisy chain, sort of like what's it called? Like an assembly line. They'll do like an assembly line sort of thing where like one will drop it off and the next one will pick it up and take it the rest of the way. So they'll actually like divide up labor, which is really interesting. Like they might divide up the same task so that you could have multiple individuals divvying up a task so that like one task gets accomplished by multiple individuals, which is really interesting to me because like they don't need to communicate at high levels with each other. They just see the leaf there and they know what to do with it.
Right.
They're like, yes, I understand what must be done, you know? I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
They also have trash collectors in the colony. Everyone knows sanitation. Let's go.
Right.
Public services. Their job is to pick up waste and dead ants and transport them to the trash heap. So in some colonies, the trash heap could be inside of the colony in this like chamber that could be really, really deep underground, while for other species, it might actually be outside of the colony some distance away. In either case, you don't want your like dead ants around with all of your live ants, because if there's something wrong with it, you want to have that separate as fast as you can. You don't want to be spreading disease.
I'm guessing the fungus won't do anything with an ant corpse.
Yeah, not helpful. I think you'll appreciate this. On top of agriculture, the agriculture by itself, already incredibly impressive. On top of that, they have another marvel of industry, which is air conditioning.
What?
I knew your ears would get perked up about that. You're an AC dad through and through. You show Christian a good AC unit. Sometimes I catch you casually reading the AC manual.
When we had one.
So I thought you would enjoy their air conditioning technology. So above the underground system of caves, the ants will build a tall mound that's called a turret. Not for like shooting machine guns.
Yeah.
They would if they could, I'm sure. And this turret can be multiple feet tall, and the turret will have one or more openings on the side. Not at the very top like a volcano. It's not like that. It's not like a turret with a line straight through the middle. The opening is like on the side of it. So it's like slanted. So the idea is that when wind blows against the turret, it allows fresh air to feed into the colony.
There's a human invention analogous to this.
Yeah?
I'm struggling to remember what it's called, though. It's used in desert environments.
So a lot of like architecture is built in this way, like to allow for airflow in a building when it's hot, right? In a hot climate. And the leafcutter ants will actually build the openings in such a way where some of the tunnels take air in and other tunnels push air out. Okay. Like the shape, I honestly tried to figure out what it is about the shape of the tunnel that determines whether air goes in or out, but they have intake and outflow like tunnels. Yeah. It has something to do with Bernoulli's principle. I'm sorry, that's as far as I could get into it. I tried. Sure. And then the ants will even reshape and rebuild the turrets over time based not on like temperature or humidity or anything like that, but based on the concentration gradient of carbon dioxide in the nest. So if too much carbon dioxide builds up inside the nest, they can tell, and they'll take down the turret and build it again in such a way where it'll like let the air flow better.
Okay, so they're not really concerned with temperature per se.
It's a little bit temperature, but like the carbon dioxide is the important thing. And I got that from a paper called The Construction of Ventilation Turrets in Atta Volenwidery Leaf-Cutting Ants, Carbon Dioxide Levels in the Nest Tunnels, but not Airflow or Air Humidity Influence Turret Structure. And that was by Florian Halboth and Flavio Rosas in Public Library of Science 1 in November of 2017. Termites will do something incredible with air conditioning in their mounds as well. And termites will have those like towering mounds, like I think it's in Africa, termite mounds will be just like, 6+ feet tall, and they're just covered in these tiny little openings for airflow into the colony.
See, I just assumed that was the termites just going in and out wherever they wanted.
Yeah, no, a lot of that is for airflow and for actually like maintaining not just good temperature, but also like the sort of chemical composition of the air inside the colony, which is really, really, really cool, I think. All this is to say, ant colonies, brilliant. Like as a super organism, they are capable of just incredible things that you would have never even thought like an insect would be capable of. But individually, ants are dumber. Ants are the dumbest thing I've ever seen. They're barely sentient. Like barely. There's nothing going on in there. There's no processes are occurring inside of their brains. They're like each individual ant is really stupid. So I remember a long time ago, actually, when I was doing Cordyceps notes for, I think it was for a Spellbound and Gagged episode, I read about how when an ant is dead, its body produces a chemical signal that says, I'm dead.
Okay.
Like a dead chemical that lets the other ants in their colony know that they're dead. So then they can pick that ant up and remove it from the colony. So it's like a little red flag that's like, hey guys, I am dead. Please remove me from the colony. There's also an override signal that says, I'm not actually dead. Please do not take me to the compost pile for ants that pick up the dead ant. Because when you pick up the dead ant, you're going to get that chemical on you and it's going to make you seem dead.
I see.
Because that's literally all they're going off of. All they're going off of is the chemical signal. So if they sense the dead chemical, there is no logical process there. Like nothing to alert the ant, hey, this ant is actively moving around and like carrying out duties and performing tasks. Nope, you got the dead chemical. So sorry, off you go. To the extent that like there was an experiment where however they did this, they painted ants with the dead chemical, like coated them with the dead signaling chemical. And that ant, other ants came and picked it up and started to carry it off. And the totally alive ant just like froze.
It's like,
it's like, I guess I must be. Like the ant that they had put the dead chemical on just like accepted its fate.
There's a really messed up opportunity for pest control in there.
If you trick all the ants into just thinking they're dead.
Haha, you are already dead.
All we have to do is induce a mass existential crisis. It's very easy. But it's like you can very easily trick an ant into just thinking that it is dead. Like they have no sense of life, mortality.
I have a pitch for whoever owns the rights to the Ants movie.
Like that movie needed to be any darker than it already was.
Sequel.
I found this YouTube video that was posted by a user named Paul Rosalie Official. Paul Rosalie is a conservationist, and this video is titled "Camping Hell in the Amazon Rainforest."
I think I saw the video about
this. Did you really see this?
I did see this.
Oh, look at we're so on the same page. We played the same ant game. We watched the same ant video. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
I won't.
Okay. So this guy is camping in the Amazon rainforest and he's like filming on his phone and he's like, you guys, it's 3 a.m. and he like turns the camera around to show his tent being slowly but surely disassembled and carried off in pieces by leafcutter ants.
Oh, no.
Like they're cutting little pieces out of his tent
Right.
and carrying it away.
With little
It's
mesh
like a
and stuff.
plastic tent. It's like nylon, and they're like cutting it off and cutting it and carrying it away.
Which is strange to me. I mean, there's got to be something that they think indicates this would make a good mold leaf.
I think just that it's
Not
like,
mold, a fungus leaf.
I think just that it's like kind of soft and bendy.
Huh.
It's giving leaf.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a smell. I don't know.
But it's nylon, right? Like it
I don't
couldn't be
know.
a chemical signal.
Yeah.
I think it's just like tactile. Like, oh, this feels kind of like a leaf usually feels, you know, it's thin and flexible and
Right.
kind of feels like a leaf. They're kind of like, well, we'll try it. Give it and there's a bunch of it. There's so much.
Right.
So yeah, they were just piece by piece carrying this guy's tent off, and there was nothing he could do about
Right.
it.
And it was like actively raining. They were
Yeah.
letting in other bugs.
Yes, because they had eaten a hole big enough
Yeah.
in the tent that it started letting a bunch of other stuff in, and
Right.
he's like, he said something like, "If you've ever wondered what it's like."
Yeah.
To do conservation work. So I even scrolled down and I found a really funny comment on that video. And this comment was left by user Haley Orion, who writes, is writing about their experience studying ecology in Costa Rica. And maybe it's Hallie, sorry, writes, quote, "Leafcutter ants industrially dismantled any flags, marking tape, etc. that we used to mark our experiment sites, for example.
Wow.
We ended up having to draw maps for ourselves like pirates with hidden treasure." So, like, you just could not leave any sort of, like, soft, fabric-y substance because
Yeah.
the leafcutter ants would be like, seems like a leaf, bring it back, see if it works.
Interesting. So I guess even when they are getting leaves, it sounds like they're probably not hunting down specific species of plants and leaves.
Any leaf will do. Leaf is a leaf.
That makes me wonder what happens when they bring this material back and like the fungus doesn't grow on it. Like, well, what do they do?
I think that they will, like, once they realize that a material is not working, like, they won't keep at it. It's
Right.
just like, you know, they figure they might as well try, right?
Like, do they toss it? Do they just abandon that part of their tunnel?
Yeah, I think they just, like, throw it out. And they, you know, because it will get to the point that it's, like, obstructing and probably damaging the fungus. And then the ones whose job it is to take care of the fungus will clean it up and
Right.
take it out. So they'll be like, uh-oh, this isn't working. Because they will even do things like if they bring in a food that, like, the fungus has a bad reaction to or something, then they'll take it out. Like, they're on top of, like, how the fungus is reacting to things.
They're tasting while they cook along the way.
That's important. Everyone overlooks that, but you gotta salt to taste. So yeah, like as individuals, it's just fascinating. It's like the opposite of, like, none of us are as stupid as all of us.
Yeah.
I feel like humans just have, like, such opposite problems. So as a superorganism, I feel like few things on this planet are as smart as ants are. But as individuals, it's like
They're like a step above siphonophore.
there's just so little going on in that little noggin, which I guess makes it more impressive that, like, as a team and as a unit, they can do such incredibly amazing things. It is more impressive knowing that each one individually has about the IQ, like a room temperature IQ,
Right.
a single digit IQ, perhaps. IQ is fake, and I don't believe in it. It just helped me for my joke. The last category we rate animals on is aesthetics. It's just how nice this animal is to look at. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. It just is.
Okay. Now,
That's what's in my notes. Okay.
do these ants have the doorhead ant?
No, they don't have the door head, but some of them have giant butt heads.
Oh,
I'm going to
boy.
show you one. Hold on. Look at this.
Oh, yeah. Look at them.
Some of them have really, really... Oh, there was one that looked like a butt. I'm going to see if I can find the butt one. Oh, here it is.
Yeah. Well, that's from a specific angle,
But
filter.
that's not
Yeah.
filtered. Oh, wait, hold on. Here's an even buttier one.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is, like, they wouldn't have the capacity to recognize anyway, but they would not recognize that as a butt themselves.
Right, that's not a butt to them. They're like, that's just what our heads look like. What's wrong with you?
Your butts look like our heads, you weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, visually, there's nothing, that really stands out to me about this ant. They're fine. I don't think ants are particularly unappealing looking. I think they're just fine.
Sure.
Should I give them a 5 out of 10?
Which, we've talked about some very glamorous ants on this podcast before. Or things
there's some beautiful ants. The silver ant,
right?
Saharan silver ant is gorgeous.
And we talked about the velvet ant, but that one was
not an ant. Okay, back to that though.
Okay,
velvet ant, as we talked about 5 years ago when that episode was, is a wasp, right? Mm-hmm. You want to know something? Ants evolved from wasps.
Oh.
Ants and bees, all of them.
Okay.
Descended, their ancestors were predatory wasps.
Huh.
So they're kind of wasps, which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's not the sort of thing where they're there are specific taxonomic clades of these are the ants, these are the bees.
Right.
But they are all within the sort of clade of wasps. Which is, you can really see, when you look closely at an ant, I feel like you can really see the wasp similarity,
Yeah.
So yeah, this is usually where we talk about things like conservation status. To my knowledge, leafcutter ants aren't of particular conservation concern. There's a lot of species. They seem to be doing good, I guess. I don't think there's a lot of research into ant conservation, but naturally they do rely on healthy forests to survive. They are basically carrying entire ecosystems on their tiny little backs. Mm-hmm. They really are shaping and engineering the entire forest floor ecosystem.
Right.
So if you want to support leafcutter ants in their habitats, look into rainforest conservation groups like the Rainforest Alliance. So yeah, I think there's always some conservation opportunities, I think, for any animal, because they do, they're all part of the same ecosystem and community. So a healthy ecosystem means healthy ants.
Did you come across any interesting predators of these ants?
Well, no, I didn't, but just flipping through my mental Rolodex, this Central and South America, you know what lives there?
What?
Giant ant eaters.
Oh, excellent.
That's kind of their whole deal, right?
That video with the guy in the tent, an anteater snoot just poked through the hole.
That would be the best case scenario. That would be his, if he saw that, all he would see would just be just a little nose poking in. He couldn't see the rest of the creature, just the little nose that pokes up through the hole in the tent, and he'd be like, yes.
It was a setup the whole time.
Oh yeah.
The anteater had a sign outside that said "Leaves this way."
Free leaves.
Ignore the dude.
If you can get by this dude, which he did nothing to stop that.
What are you going to do?
I know, that's why I was like, if you see that happening, there's nothing you can do about that.
If I'm remembering, he either said in the video or maybe in the comments was just he didn't want to risk opening the tent and letting in even more mosquitoes and things.
Right. So it's just, you have to just lay on the ground and accept fate at that point. Yeah, if anyone has dreams of camping in the Amazon, do understand. Maybe bring some sort of titanium tent.
Just have a big fish tank for myself.
No, that's even worse. It would get so humid in there. All that stale air. Blah.
I played Subnautica.
Oh, yeah, you're fine then. So that's Leafcutter Ants.
Thanks, babe.
Thanks for listening to me yap about these ants.
Anytime.
Oh, I was really in an insecty mood because of these Legos I put together last week. Mm-hmm. Christian got me the insect Lego set.
I did.
For my birthday, and that was in March, and it's currently November, and I finally put them together. So I've got the praying mantis and the beetle and the butterfly now on my desk. So
very nice.
They're my little buddies that I look at when I'm at my desk.
I like them.
Thanks for my birthday present.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for spending this time with us. I hope you liked what you heard. If you did, I would love it if you left some nice words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. I figured out recently that, I talked a big game about, Spotify lets you leave comments on podcast episodes. It does do that. And also, it only displays comments to me in episode order. So if you leave a comment on Like when I pull up the screen, it only shows me comments on the most recent episode. Like it only shows comments in episode order.
Okay.
So like if today
Yeah.
you left a comment on like our first episode, I would only be able to see it if I scrolled all the way down to episode 1.
Wow.
So if you leave comments on old episodes, I probably won't see them. Sorry. We have a lot of episodes and I'm not scrolling that far every day.
This is a struggling feature.
They need so much work. There's so many issues on my end. On my end, it's a little bit of a dumpster fire. So I'm sorry for people who are perhaps trying to communicate with me via Spotify comments. There's easier ways, y'all. I'm on social media.
I get why so many shows just don't enable that.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, I get it. There are easier ways to contact me. I'm very easy to reach. We're on social media. Links to all of our socials will be in the episode description. You can also email me at ellen@justthezooofus.com if you have a cool animal that you'd like to hear us talk about on the show. We would like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network, along with the other amazing shows that they've got that you heard promos for earlier in this episode. And finally, we'd like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Louis. Really appreciate that.
We're not on first name basis.
I feel like sometimes, I mean, like, how do you know when you're going to be on first name basis?
I don't know, man.
If you're like on first name basis with like animals, do you call them by like their genus name? No, it would be the species name, right?
Sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I would argue every time it doesn't matter.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Maximum Fun,
A worker-owned network.
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
Directly
by you.